All right, there's a couple things you want to notice first in this question. So it says choose the quadratic function whose graph goes through these 3 points. And so the first thing I want you to notice is when you look at these equations, they're all written in a factored form. So this is the factored form of a quadratic equation. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to notice. The next thing I want you to notice is that the 3 points all have a zero in them, and that's really important. So these points, I'm just going to label them real quick. Just as a reminder, the first value is an x value, and the second one's a y. So we have 3xy ordered pairs. All right. So let's look at the ones where y is equal to 0 first. So y equals 0. That gives me the points 2, 0, 2, 0, and -2, 0. All right. So what I can do is I can take the y value of 0 and I can plug it into the function and then see what the roots of that are. So what are the values of x that would make it equal to 0? And then I can see which of these has a root of 2 and a root of -2. So if I plug in 0 for this, so let's say I make this 0, okay? So I'm making the y value 0. What are the x values that would make this side equal to 0? Well, if x was equal to 2, 2 minus 2 would be 0, and then all these things are multiplied by 0, and that would be 0. So one of the roots is 2. The x value for this one is -2. Okay, so that works, right? So it could be answer A. And then if I look at answer B, it's got the same roots, and answer C and answer D. Okay, so they all have these roots. So that didn't really help us much. All right, so let's go to the other point they gave us now. So the other point is where x is equal to 0. And so when x is equal to 0, I'm just going to write y equals -3. So what you want to do is take 0 and plug it in for x, and then solve it and see what you come out with for y. So this time I'm plugging in 0 for x, and then I'm solving the equation to see what I come up with for y. And so here I would have y equals -3/4. Hopefully I have room here. And then here I would have 0 minus 2, because I'm plugging in 0 for x, so that would just be -2. And then this one, 0 plus 2, would give me 2. And so I multiply those together, so that's -4 times -3/4, and that comes out to a y value of 3. Now, if I look back over here, we said when x is 0, y needs to be equal to -3. So that didn't work. So A is not the one. So now let's do the same thing with B. So y equals 3 times, again, 0 minus 2 is -2, and this one would be +2. So I multiply those together, and I get y equals -12. That's no good. So move on to the next one. Y equals 3/4 times, again, I'm plugging in 0 for x, so that would be -2 times, sorry, that one's +2. Or no, it's not. It's -2. I need to quit for the day. I'm getting tired. And this one is 2. And so I multiply those together, and you end up with y equals -3. And so that one is the correct answer, C. If I went ahead and checked D, it wouldn't work. It would come out to 12. All right. So the answer is C. And again, I got that by taking the x value of 0, plugging it in for all of the x's. So I plugged in 0 and 0. That gave me -2 and 2. Multiplied that together, and I'm looking for that to be equal to -3. Now, in some questions, this part would have helped you finding these roots here. This one, it just so happened they all had the same roots, so their factored form here was the same except for the value in front, the a value there. Okay, so keep up the good work. You're doing great. You're on your way to mastering the math.